So, if you're in the AI space at all, you know that this idea of agentic AI is just exploding. We're talking about multiple AIs teaming up to tackle these massive, complex tasks. But trying to keep up with all the frameworks and tools, it can honestly feel like you're lost in a maze. And that maze is getting bigger and more complicated every single day. And that's a feeling so many developers have right now. This incredible excitement about what AI agents can do, but also this real frustration with how ridiculously complex they are to actually build. It's a genuine struggle. But what if there was a simpler way? What if someone just handed us a clear, easy-to-read map for this whole new territory? Well, it looks like OpenAI might have just done exactly that. You see, up until now, building these powerful systems with multiple agents working together has been a serious headache. Developers had to stitch together these clunky, complicated workflows just to get different AIs to talk to each other. For a lot of them, it felt less like innovation and more like running headfirst into a brick wall. And to really get the breakthrough here, you just have to look at the old way versus the new way. I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got a framework like LangGraph. To use it, you had to wrap your head around a whole long list of concepts. Human in the loop, streaming, memory, nodes, edges, state management. It's a lot. And then on the other side, you have the new OpenAI Agents SDK. It boils everything down to just 3 core ideas: agents, handoffs, and guardrails. The difference is just night and day. This quote from a developer really just hits the nail on the head. They were working with these older, more complex frameworks, and they said even after holding long training sessions, people just weren't getting it. The complexity was a total roadblock. It was so clear that something had to change. And OpenAI saw that wall too. So they took years of learnings from their own big projects, like the Assistance API and another internal framework they called Swarm, and they looked at what was happening everywhere else, and they just distilled it all down into this really elegant, simple solution. So what is this thing really? Well, at its core, the new Agents SDK is an open-source, super lightweight way to build and manage these multi-agent systems. It's specifically designed to just delete all that extra complexity you found in the older tools. And here's the kicker: it's model agnostic. That means you can plug in any LLM you want, like Google's Gemini or Anthropic's Claude, not just OpenAI's models. That's a huge deal. So what does all that simplicity mean in the real world? Well, one developer said he spent months, literally months, trying to get the hang of the older frameworks. With this new SDK, he said he understood the whole thing in a single day. Think about that. That's not just a small improvement. It's a revolutionary shift in who can build this stuff. Okay, so how did they actually pull that off? How did they make it so simple? Well, the entire framework is built on just 3 and only 3 fundamental pieces. They call them primitives, and they're incredibly easy to understand, but they become so powerful when you put them together. And these are the 3 pillars right here: agents, handoffs, and guardrails. That's it. That's the whole shebang. Everything you do, everything you build, it just revolves around these 3 intuitive ideas. So let's break down what each one actually is. All right, first up, the agent. The easiest way to think about an agent is to think of it like a person, right? It has a brain, and that brain is the large language model. It has a set of instructions, which is basically its persona. Is it a friendly customer service bot, a genius coder, a meticulous researcher? And finally, it has tools it can use, like giving it the ability to search the web or pull info from a specific file. Next, we have the handoff. Now, this is the secret sauce for making agents work together as a team. When one agent gets a task that it's not really built for, it can hand it off to another agent that is an expert. The analogies here are perfect. It's like passing a baton in a relay race. Or think about it like delegating chores in a family. One person might be great at getting the groceries, but they hand them off to the person who's the expert at actually cooking the meal. Simple, right? Each agent does what it does best. And pillar number 3, guardrails. These are basically the rules of the road. Guardrails are your gatekeeper. They control what an agent is allowed to do and what it's not. You can set rules to restrict what kind of input it'll even listen to or what kind of output it can produce. So for example, you can tell a customer service agent to just ignore abusive language or stop it from going off topic. It's how you build in safety and keep things from going off the rails. Okay, but the real magic here isn't just these 3 pillars on their own. It's how the SDK uses them automatically. It all happens inside something called the built-in agent loop. And this is what takes all the complicated stuff off your plate. I mean, think about it. With the old frameworks, you, the developer, had to manually code all of this logic. When should the agent use a tool? When should it pass a task to another agent? How does it handle a failure and try again? You had to build all that yourself. With the OpenAI Agents SDK, all of that is automated. The agent itself decides what to do, when to call a tool, and when to hand off a task. It's all built in. So what this means is that the developer just has to do one thing: give the agent a goal. That's it. From there, the SDK kicks into this loop where the agent thinks, decides what to do next, call a tool, hand off the task, or give the final answer. And it just keeps repeating that cycle over and over until the job is done. All that messy orchestration is just handled for you. So when this SDK was released, it wasn't some quiet little update. No, it sent some serious shockwaves through the entire AI developer community. It was an immediate signal that we might be seeing a massive shift in how these kinds of applications get built from now on. Check this out. In just the first 16 hours after it launched, the project's page on GitHub got over 2,900 stars. Now, for a brand new open source project, that is an absolutely explosive level of interest. It was instant proof that this SDK was solving a very real and very widespread pain point for developers. So why all the hype so fast? Well, it really boils down to a few key things. First, it's a Python-first design, which makes it feel totally natural for the massive community of Python developers to just pick up and use. Of course, the drastic simplicity we've been talking about is a huge draw. It also comes with tools for tracing and feedback baked right in, so you can actually see what your agents are thinking. And because it's brand new, it has no legacy baggage. It was built from scratch using the best ideas we have today. The feeling among all the people who tried it early is pretty clear. This isn't just another tool in the toolbox. Because it's so simple, so powerful, and so modern, a lot of people think this framework could become a genuine cornerstone for the entire next generation of AI applications. And that really leaves us with one final, pretty exciting thought. For the longest time, the whole conversation around agentic AI has been about how hard it is to build, the how. But by giving us a map that's this simple and this powerful, OpenAI has totally changed the conversation. The question isn't if we can build these revolutionary AI systems anymore. The real question is, what amazing, world-changing things are we going to build first?